All right, good afternoon. Scott Simpkins, my HELOC tutor, no cost education initiative. It is October 17th, 2019. Beautiful day. I'm looking forward to next Saturday. I will be actually over in the West Tennessee area near Memphis. Actually, I think technically Olive Branch, which is Mississippi, be at a church, actually helping with a home buyer event, kind of educating, help give some ideas and structure for how to purchase a home, and that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about in advance of the event I'm doing at that church. So what I'm going to do is give you an example number. We're going to use a purchase price of $200,000, and we're going to do 90% financing, which means we are going to come to the table with 10%. Okay. I can't give you 10 different examples of purchase prices and money down and all this kind of stuff. So just use this as an example of how to structure in and use the HELOC system. Now, one thing that I haven't really talked about probably is that purchase money is when you're going to buy a home. If you have a home and you're refinancing, that's different. Purchase money means when you're buying the home, your loan structure. It is not impossible, but it's difficult to find a lender who will allow you to use one loan, being the HELOC, as your financing. In other words, in the $200,000 example, it would be a tough thing to find a $180,000 home equity line of credit right out of the gate and you go buy the home. It's not impossible, but there are reasons why. I'm not going to try to get into the search for that. One of the main reasons is, as I've said in other videos, you want your home equity line of credit to be at the bank, where your paycheck and all of that already lands, as opposed to having some online home equity line vendor separate from your paycheck, and you get paid and then you're wanting getting money to your HELOC. So now you've got to do online transfers to a whole nother banking institution. You're setting yourself up for frustration, and I would encourage you just to not go there. So I want to give you a little bit of a twist on how to structure your home purchase, and this falls right in line with what I'm going to be talking about at this event, church event, next Saturday the 26th. And that is, again, $200,000 example, 90% financing. So that means we're going to be borrowing $180,000. So how do we want to structure that $180,000 to be aggressive and useful for us, and maybe not coming out of the gate with just the one HELOC? We're going to do something that's a little bit odd, but just because other people don't do it, they don't think to do it. They do what everybody else does, which is 80% first mortgage and then a 10% second mortgage. Okay, so in this example, 80% first mortgage, $200,000 purchase, that would be $160,000 for your first mortgage, and then you have a $20,000 second mortgage. In our case, we definitely would want a HELOC. We don't want to do it that way. I don't want you to have just a $20,000 line of credit for a couple of reasons. So what we're going to do is 90% financing, but we're going to do the first mortgage to be 50%, so that's $100,000, and then a 40% HELOC, which would be $80,000. So $100,000 first mortgage, $80,000 HELOC, that's the $180,000 that we need to borrow, and you go to closing that way. Yes, you can have your percentages broken up that way for your financing. It doesn't have to be 80-10. It can be 50-40 based on the numbers I just gave you. So what does that do? First of all, it makes that first mortgage payment, 50% mortgage, because it's only a $100,000 mortgage, that's going to be a smaller payment. Okay, well, then yeah, that does technically mean coming out of the gate, your HELOC payment is going to be a little bit bigger. The net numbers between the two is essentially the same, but what you're coming out with is a much larger tool. Instead of having a $20,000 home equity line of credit, you have an $80,000 line of credit. And as you use the system, as you run your money into the HELOC and you build equity, just like the videos 1 through 9 teach and show, you've got more access to more equity over time, and you don't have to run back to the bank and try to restructure because you got this little HELOC that you've already paid off because you did this insane system. Instead of having $20,000 paid off and now all you got is the first mortgage, you're pounding into this thing and you've got $60, $70, $80,000 of equity available, and you really don't even have to run back to the bank, because in many cases having an $80,000 line of credit would be more than enough flexibility. Now, there are ways that over time, what you could do is go back to the bank, a year or two after you've had the home, if you wanted to, if you felt like you needed to, and you could restructure all of the balances at that time into a HELOC, because that would be a refinance. It's not a purchase at that time. And so think about that different structure. And what's also cool is, if you do this structure, $100,000 first mortgage, $80,000 home equity line of credit, you are making that HELOC payment smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as you're running the system and attacking that balance. And you've got this other little $100,000 mortgage payment, which itself is probably pretty small. So again, you've taken control over what your payments are throughout the month. Hope that helps. Again, as always, you can email through the site, myheloctutor.com, send a question, and as often as I can, I will return a phone call. If you want to get on the phone and talk for a minute or two, man, I'm totally open for that. Appreciate you listening. Have a good rest of the day.